What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for this week's new comic book day, which is January 29th of 2025. This is one of those rare months where there is 5 new comic book days in 1 month. That's right, 5 new comic book days. But that does mean that this week is not packed with tons and tons of cover letter picks and best reads, and my pull list is not gigantic, which is great for me and it's great for our wallets. But that does not mean there is not some amazing books that is coming out this week. We have an amazing top 3 this week. We have a great pull list to go over, and there is some cover letter picks, but this might be the smallest cover letter section that I've had in a very long time. So let's not waste any more time because this video should be nice, short, and sweet. So let's dive right into this week's cover letter picks. Now, if you guys are new to this channel or new to this video series, my cover letter picks are just all the covers that I find really amazing. It's all a personal opinion. There's no speculation here. It's just awesome cover that I want to share with you guys so that way you guys know that these covers are coming out this week on New Comic Book Day. Now, this first one could be a little controversial in the idea that this character looks a little frumpy on this cover, but guys, my first cover to share with you guys this week is Storm Life Dream issue number 1 with the variant cover done by Oliver Kopel. And yeah, I think this cover is gorgeous, but you gotta admit, Storm does look a little frumpy, even a little dumpy in this cover, but it's Oliver Kopel. His artwork just says something to me, and I still really enjoy this cover. Now, next up is Ultimate X-Men issue number 11 with the 1:25 ratio variant done by Carmen Carnero. I really like the layout of this comic. I like the brighter colors on this comic, and that female character in the front, which I'm not sure who that is. Is that supposed to be the Wasp, Black Widow? I don't know. It's Ultimate X-Men, so we will probably find out in this issue who this character is. But if you guys know who it is, because I'm not reading Ultimate X-Men, let me know down in the comments below. But I think this is a really cool cover. Now, guys, next up is X-Men issue number 10 with the Magic variant in the 1:50 Virgin ratio variant done by Leslie Lyrics Lee. It's pretty stinking good. I actually like it. This might be one of Leslie's better covers. Now, next up is an absolutely gorgeous cover. This is Psylocke issue number 3 with the variant in, of course, the 1:100 Virgin ratio variant done by Pablo Villalobos. Yeah, it's really nice. I like that her hair is down and kind of like in her face a little bit, and she's doing like her magic sword thingy, but it's kind of like, I don't know, magic-y more? I don't know. It's really stinking cool, and the background is awesome. This is a great cover. Now, next up is Thundercats issue number 12. Now, this being a Dynamite book, there are a lot of different versions of this cover. First up is the cover C, which is up on screen right now, and then there's the cover N, which is a 1:10 foil. Then there's the cover P, which is a 1:15 Virgin foil, and then there's the cover T, which is a 1:30 Virgin ratio variant done by Jay Lee. I said this when this was on FOC. I kind of like this because Panther reminds me of an image that in my memory that reminds me of my grandfather. He used to wear overalls. He obviously didn't wear a belt that said Thundercats and spikes on it, but he wore overalls all the time. And there's this one memory I have of him and a few of my cousins, and he had a barbell, and the kids were like picking it up and lifting it over his head, and he like went on and put more weights, and he wanted to show off, and he almost hurt himself putting it over his head, and he was shirtless with overalls. And I think this cover just reminds me of that, and I just think it's awesome. But it's also Jay Lee. It's fantastic. Yeah, this cover is just great. Now, next up is a Mark Spears cover. It is for Thundercats issue number 12. This is the cover V. And then we have so many different versions to go over. So guys, strap in and enjoy the different versions of the same exact cover. So like I said, first up is the cover V. And then there's the cover X, which is the ultraviolet. Then there's the cover Y, which is the foil. Then there's the cover Z, which is the foil virgin. Then there's the cover ZA, which is the 1:7 snake symbol variant. Then there's the cover ZC, which is the 1:7 red background foil. Then there's the cover ZD, which is the 1:10 red background foil virgin. Then there's the cover ZG, which is the 1:10 snake symbol virgin variant, all done by Mark Spears. It's cool. It's Mum-Ra. There's lots of different versions. I don't even remember what my favorite version is. I'll make a little mark up on screen to let you guys know which one is my favorite. I think it's the 1 in 10 snake symbol virgin variant, but I can't remember. I only have one cover up on my dock. But let's continue. There are 4 more covers. Next up are some exclusive variants available online, even though one of them is already sold out. This is Street Fighter Prime Zero, the Udon Web Store exclusive. This first one up is the X2 Shadow Bride Chun-Li variant done by Inkpot. Very sexy, maybe a little over the top, but it is serving a specific market, and I gotta tell you, this is really nice. It is super nice. Now, next up is the Udon Web Store exclusive variant. This is the X1 Bride Chun-Li variant, also done by Inkpot. Both are fantastic. I gotta tell you, I think I like the X2 Shadow Bride variant over the X1 Bride variant, but they're both just absolutely fantastic. Now, could I put this up on my wall? Probably not. I don't think Stephanie would like it, but put this in a box and enjoy it at some time? Maybe. Next up is Red Sonja, issue number 18 with the cover B, the cover J, 1 in 15 Virgin, and the cover N, 1 in 7 black and white variant done by Bjorn Barends. It's badass. Bjorn Barends, I think, does all of his artwork in a 3D software, so it has a very specific look to it. Sometimes I don't like it, but this one right here is absolutely fantastic. The energy in Red Sonja, she's not wielding a sword. She's got a bow, which she doesn't really have very often. Overall, it is super cool. And Ghost, in the Discord, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, this is a nice little plug for the Discord. The channel has a Discord, and there are a lot of amazing people in there. And there's a member called Ghost. He loves tentacles, and he loves Red Sonja. So this is all for Ghost. I think Bjorn Barends made this specifically for him. Obviously he didn't, but it's super cool. Last up is Red Sonja, issue number 18, the cover F variant, which is a 1 in 10 ratio. And there's also a cover Q, which is a 1 in 15 Virgin Modern Icon variant done by Jenny Frison. These are reprints. These were originally printed a while ago, but they like to take artwork, I should say they, I should explain who they is. That's Dynamite Comics. They take really amazing artwork that was done in the past and they call it a modern icon variant and reprint that again. So because a lot of these previous covers go for a lot of money, so if you cannot afford those, you can get them at a deal now as a reprint. So these covers are awesome. They've been doing them for a while and I still really enjoy them because I'm a huge fan of Jenny Frison. All right, guys, those are all my cover lover picks. Let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is going over my pull list. That's right, all the books that are on my pull list. So let's go ahead and dive into that right now. All right, as you guys can see, this is a kind of small pull list for me. Normally I'm over 20 books, like usually between 20 and 25. Every once in a while, when there's only 4 weeks in a month, my pull list can get up over 30. It's crazy, it's silly, but guys, there's only 17 books right here. But this is blurry, it's small, you guys can't see what it is, so let me go ahead and throw it up on screen right now. Guys, there are a total of 15 books on my pull list, and if we break this list down, there are 2 new number ones. One is a new ongoing, and the other one is a one-shot. There is 1 DC book, that's it, 1 DC, which is crazy. And there is 4 Marvel books, and I had 10 indie titles. Now, I did read the previous issue to every single book you see on screen right now, so every single book could make the top 3 list. All right, guys, there are no books on the chopping block this week, so that means we can move right over to the new number ones that I think you consider picking up because I think the stories sound really stinking good. Before we dive into those new number ones, I'm just gonna ask you, do me a favor. If you're enjoying the video, smash that like button. It really does help the channel and this video series out so much. So please smash that like button. Now, let's go ahead and check out these new number ones. All right, guys, 2 new number ones on the pull list this week. We're gonna cover the one shot first. And that is Book of Cutter issue number 1. Now, I am really excited for this. I'm normally not excited for one-shots. I pick them up for some reason, and I never read them. And that comes down to my reading style, which is silly, but I read the previous issue to the next book for this video right here. So I'm always a month behind. In one-shots, there is no previous issue. So when I make my list of books to read for this week, the one-shots get like left behind and they just get put in a box and I never see them. But guys, I am really excited for this book right here because this is part of expanding the Slaughterverse, which is Something is Killing the Children. I love this universe, especially when the books are written by James Tynion IV or James Tynion IV. And this book is written by him, and it's going to have art by Werther Dell'Edera, which is the main artist of Something is Killing the Children. He's done every single issue for the main book, and it's just incredible. When these two come together to tell a story in this universe, it is normally a home frickin' run. I cannot wait for them to expand this universe, but let's go ahead and read the synopsis for this book. As it crosses its 5th year anniversary, the Slaughterverse unveils one of its darkest chapters yet in this oversized one-shot exploring a brand new facet to the mythos of monsters and the ones who hunt them. Maxine Slaughter, a former pack hunter who renounced her white mask to take up the black for the Order of St. George, journeys to Europe to seek out House Cutter in its mysterious ways. So that's basically the synopsis of the book. But the synopsis does continue. The Eisner Award-winning team of iconic writer James Tynion IV, legendary artist Werther Dell'Edera, and the acclaimed colorist Miguel Montero close out 5 years of nightmares with this pivotal entry in the blockbuster horror saga. Now, this book is going to be 96 pages, which is a big fat. It's almost like trade paperback, and it is going to cost you $9.99. Now, there are some variants to this, but I'm not a huge fan of any of the variants. I'm just going to go with the cover A, which is done by Dan Mora. There's also a cover B done by Werther Dell'Edera, which is absolutely fantastic. There is an FOC variant. Who is this done by? I'm not sure. It doesn't say. Yes, it does. It's done by Christian Ward. I'm an idiot. This cover is done by Christian Ward. There is a trade dress, and there is a cover C, which is a 1:5 ratio variant, which is a version of that. There is a cover D, which is a version of the cover B, done by Werther Dell'Edera, and there is a cover E, which is a 1:25 ratio variant, done by Carrie Randolph, which is actually pretty stinking cool, and I think it has the character that we are going to be following in this book on the cover, which is really cool. Now the other book that is a new #1, it is a new independent. It is not, I don't think it is an ongoing. It is a probably going to be a maxi series or a 6-issue mini, but it is called The Seasons issue #1. This is coming from the writer of Rick Remender, and it's going to have art by Paul Azaceta, and I am really excited for this because I love Rick Remender as a writer. So many books that he writes are so fantastic. So I'm pumped for this one. Now let's go ahead and read the synopsis. Summer, winter, spring, and autumn are the Seasons sisters, the daughters of the world-renowned Seasons detectives. 10 years ago, their famous parents disappeared. Left to raise themselves, the sisters formed an unbreakable bond. Now that bond is tested as the sisters fall prey to sinister forces. The youngest sister, Spring, is the last hope of saving them from a fate far worse than death. Will Spring be able to piece her shattered family back together before it's too late for them all? Rick Remender and Paul Azaceta weave an elevated tale of whimsical horror unlike anything ever experienced in comics, and it all starts with this double-length premiere issue, perfect for fans of boundary-breaking horror in all forms. This is a double-length issue for only $3.99. That is fantastic. I cannot wait to read this book, this big fat first issue. It's gonna be awesome. Now, for variants, there are some, and I'm not a fan of a lot of them. There is the cover B, which is a 1:15 done by Jordi Lafarbe, which is probably my favorite. There is a cover C, which is a 1:25 done by Ken Williams. It is creepy. Like, really creepy. Kind of looks like a doll and a clown behind it. I'm not a big fan of clowns. I'm not scared of clowns, but I don't love clowns. There is a cover D, which is 1:50 done by Wes Craig, which is pretty cool. Now, League of Comic Geeks does have 2 more variants. Or I should say 3. There is a cover F, which is a blank. But there is a cover E, which is a 1/100 Paul Azaceta Remark sketch variant. I don't know how you get that. And there is also a cover G, which is a 1/250 Paul Azaceta original art variant. So obviously, for the 1/100, the store would have to order 100 copies. So I said, I don't know how to get that, but that's how you would get that. And then there's the 1/250, they would have to order 250, but you're getting an original art variant, which is super cool. All right, guys, those are the two number ones that I think you should consider picking up this week because I think the stories are going to be really, really good. But let's not waste any more time because we have to go over the top 3 books that I think you should be picking up this week because the previous issues were so good. All right, guys, the number 3 book is a surprise book. That's right. I read the first issue of this book, and I gotta tell you, I was not expecting a lot, but after reading it, I was really pleased with how good the story was. And guys, I'm talking about Hell Hunters issue number 2 comes out this week. I read issue number 1 yesterday, and this is coming from the writer of Philip Kennedy Johnson. It has art by Adam Gorham. Now, to kick this review, or I should say just pump up session, get you excited for this book, the art by Adam Gorham was really good. Like, way better than I thought it was going to be. There's been a lot of artists, or I should say a lot of ghostwriter books that's come out over like the last couple of years, and some of the artwork has been great, and a lot of the artwork has only been okay. But the art by Adam Gorham was a home run. It really elevated the story that was being told by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Now, if you did not know what Hell Hunters is all about, it's the origin story of Ghost Rider 44, which was introduced in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk run. Is it called The Immortal Hulk? No, The Incredible Hulk. I forgot what the name of the title of the book is, but it's the current ongoing Hulk book. He was introduced in that book, and now he's getting his own, I think this is going to be a 6-issue mini or a 5-issue mini. But it's super cool so far. I really enjoy it. This is obviously back in 1944, and we find out how Ghost Rider 44 dies and how he's resurrected by the writer. And we also meet the big bad in the book, which is super cool. It's a bunch of scary zombie Nazis. Well, it's not zombies per se, because they're inhabited by some kind of evil spirit. Super cool. Really, really cool. He does run into Nick Fury at the end of the issue and some other really cool characters, and we are going to get Bucky Barnes and Captain America and Wolverine all in this series. Super, super cool. I'm really excited for this. And yeah, there are some really cool variants for this. I'll have to make sure they're up on screen while I was talking about this book. So overall, Hell Hunters is one good book. It's not amazing, it's not like the best book ever, but it was definitely one of the best reads. It's in the number 3 spot for this week. I think I was just more pleasantly surprised that this was just a really good book. I was prepared for this to be immediately chopped and me to like somehow put this in a box that I was gonna give away later down the line or try to sell online for a cent or 25 cents or something. But this was fun, really fun Ghost Rider book, top 3 book this week. So let's not waste any more time because we have 2 more books to talk about, and then we have to go over the not top 3, but the books you got to see. So let's go ahead and find out what's in the number 2 spot. All right, guys, the number 2 book that I think you have to be picking up this week is a Mark Millar book, and it is Nightclub Volume 2, issue number 5, the penultimate issue of this 6-issue series. And guys, this book is super fun. It is so good. Now, this also has art by Juana Ramirez. We have the writer, Mark Millar, artist, Juana Ramirez. They've been together since Volume 1. They're doing Volume 2. I hope there's going to be a Volume 3 and 4. But this series follows 3 kids who are vampires. If you want to go back and find out how they became vampires, you can go back and read that yourself. But they're in high school. They're dealing with high school problems. And one of the problems they're dealing with is that the girl and one of the guys fall in love, and the third wheel gets pissed off, and then now he's like, raging against his friends, doing what they would not do, and like taking advantage of his powers and doing really cool things. And then that is turned on him because he does something really stupid. And both of the boys get murdered. And then the girl is left, and the group of people who murdered them are now like basically tormenting her, letting her know that they could kill her at any moment, or kill her family, or anyone she loves at any moment. But what is she gonna do? Well, she's gonna try to resurrect her 2 friends. That's right. That's gonna happen in this issue, and I cannot wait to see how she's gonna do it. Because how's she gonna do it? Because the 2 friends were left out in the sun, and they were like burnt alive. So how do you resurrect 2 like burnt alive vampires? I don't freaking know, but I cannot wait to find out. This book is super fun. If you are a fan of Mark Millar, make sure you're reading this book. It's full of teen drama, vampire drama, superhero stuff, just an awesomely awesomely told story. It's been fun since issue number 1. The first series were they put out for $1.99 an issue. This is back up. This is up to $4.99 an issue, so I guess they're trying to recoup some of that cost. But just putting it out for $1.99, that first run, really just like made it accessible to everyone. Super cool, Mark Millar. I really enjoyed that. The art by Juan Ramirez is fantastic. Lots of energy. He reminds me a lot of Alessandro. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, Capaccio, or someone put it in the comments how to pronounce it, and I already forgot. But reminds me a lot of him, the Moon Knight artist, or now he's doing Ultimate Wolverine. That guy. These two artists, they have a look that looks a lot alike. But it's great. It's so great. All right, guys, that is my number 2 book. There is a variant cover for this, but it's just a black and white of the cover A. So it's not a variant. It's just more of like another option. If you don't like color, you can get that one. But I love the color. So that's the one I'm getting. All right, one more book, and then we'll do the not top 3. So let's find out what my number 1 book that I think you guys have to be picking up this week, because the previous issues were so freaking good. All right, the number 1 book to be picking up this week is so good to me because I've been reading this series for like 3 volumes before. And there's been so much buildup in that story that's continued from one volume to the next, building this family and this team, and it's so good. This is Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue number 4, comes out this week, coming from the writer of Jed MacKay, and we're going to have art by Dev Parmanik on this one. Now, Alessandro, gonna butcher his name again, Capaccio, his name is, I'll put it up on screen so you guys know who I'm talking about. He was on this run for like 3 volumes, I believe. I believe it's 3. And his artwork really was a home run. It was so, so good. They have a new artist, obviously, to fill in for him because he's moved over to Ultimate Wolverine, and it's a shame. The last artist on the previous issue, I don't think was Dev Parmanik. It's right over there. I could go grab it, but I'm not going to. I'll check on while I'm editing, and I'll put it up on screen who the previous artist was on the last issue, issue number 3. He was okay. It was okay. But when you have an artist for 3 volumes and then you switch them out, even if they can kind of come close to that same style, same energy, it's not the same. So that was a negative part of this series so far, that they've had to switch artists. But the story, guys, the story is so good. And why it's so good is because Moon Knight is a very violent character, right? He's always been a very violent character, but Jed MacKay has allowed him to still be that violent character, but he's also opened him up to care for others. And he's made this team around him of people that he deeply cares for. But he's also got a building called the Midnight Mission, which is a haunted living building, right? Which is another character that was introduced, I believe, in volume 2. I don't know where in that volume, but I believe that's when it was introduced. So this character of the Midnight Mission has been with us for a long time. And all the other characters have been with us for a long time. You really care about what's going to happen to every single one of them. Well, something terrible happened in issue number 3 where one of the characters was murdered. Now, Moon Knight was murdered, and the team had to deal with that pain and that loss, but now another character was officially gone, dead. And it was heart-wrenching, and it was a character that you think, I don't care about that. Why would I care about that? But Jed MacKay has done such a great job of crafting this story through the 3 volumes and making you really, I'm going to use a sentence, fall in love. Yes, I know that's out there, in love, really. I'm not in love with these characters, but you care for them, you feel for them when something terrible happens. And when this happened, it was like, what? You can't kill that character? They're so important to Moon Knight in his mission of, like, keeping his, like, area of New York safe. But someone came in and did it, and it was terrible. And you felt it. You felt the pain. It was there. Now, they're going to have to continue. And how are they going to fight this new bad? And they've been pinned. His team, the media is now out there saying that they're peddling this new drug. And they're the reason why this new drug is on the street and like really doing bad things to a lot of people. But obviously they aren't. So they got to find out who's like framing them. And then they got to find out you know, get revenge for killing this really cool character. I'm not going to tell you who it is. You're going to have to read it yourself. But the variants for this are okay. The cover A is okay. I really dislike that they've had to change the artist because Alessandro was so key to this series. But hopefully this is going to be able to get better and better. I cannot wait to read this full run. I hope Jed MacKay stays in this book for a very long time. Continue writing it for another 10 years because it will be so enjoyable for 10 more years. He won't. He'll move on. But Moon Knight is amazing. You see Jed MacKay on the cover. Pick it up if you're not already. Pick up the other volumes. Get caught up. Enjoy this series with me because it's that good. All right, guys. That was the #1 book. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the not top 3. And the books you got to see, which are the rest of the books on my pull list. The not top 3, but the books you got to see are the rest of the books on my pull list. Broken into 3 different sections. The first section will always be the okay books. These are books that were just okay. I can't really suggest that you guys pick these up because they were okay. Then there's the good. These books were really solid books, enjoyable, but just not great. And then there's the great books. These are 100% books that I think you guys could and should pick up because they were great. They were just not the best, which were the top 3 books that we just went over. So let's cover the okay. There are 2 books in this section. There's Hornsby and Halo issue number 3. This is probably definitely the weakest Ghost Machine book. It's not, you're not really engaged to the character. The storytelling is not as impactful as the other stories. It is okay. I am going to continue for a few more issues and see if it gets any better. If it does not, chop chop and continue on with my life, enjoying the rest of the Ghost Machine books. And then there's X-Men. I was behind 2 issues, so I read a total of 3 issues of X-Men this week. Man, Jed MacKay, when he's on Moon Knight, it is so good. This X-Men book, it really struggles to be good. It really struggles to do anything but be okay. They've had multiple different artists on this book, like multiple. Ryan Stegman was a big selling point for me. Jed MacKay, Ryan Stegman, rah, X-Men. And we've gotten like 3 or 4 different artists. Now, there was an artist, I'll put his name up on screen, that was that did half of issue number 9, and his art was so good. It was like refreshingly how good it was. Definitely helped with the storytelling, made it a little bit better, and then Ryan Stegman finished it out. And I gotta tell you, I don't really like Ryan Stegman on X-Men anymore. He hasn't been able to find his look for all the characters. It kind of is disjointed, especially when you have 2 different artists in one book. Marvel, figure your stuff out with your X-Men books. They should be great, every single one. But all of them are just okay, or they're just not being picked up at all. Let's continue. The good. First up is Deadpool issue number 10. This series is just good. It should be great. But this story with his daughter and him dying but not dying and her finding a way to resurrect him was interesting. It was heartfelt. It was heartwarming. I liked the banter a little bit. But Corey Ziegler is not your Deadpool writer. Find who your next big Deadpool writer is, Marvel. The artwork in this book is pretty good, so overall it's just a good book. Next up, Green Lantern issue number 19 comes out this week. I read the one-shot Green Lantern Fractional Spectrum or whatever. It was okay. The artwork wasn't great. The story was kind of meh. It was written by Jeremy Adams, who is the main writer on Green Lantern, but the main Green Lantern series as a whole has been amazing. But after reading that one-shot, I'm just kind of like, meh, all right. But this series is great. It's just because of that one shot, this book is in the good, but I almost guarantee you after reading issue number 19, issue number 20 will be in the great. After that, Red Before Black, issue number 4, this is a cool indie book, but there's been a large delay between issue number 3 and issue number 4, which meant I didn't read issue number 3 for like months. So I was kind of lost in reading issue number 3 and like where the story was, piecing it all back together. By the end of the issue, I was like, oh yeah, this is what this book is about. It's good. It's just not great. After that, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 6. This series has been super solid so far. Jason Aaron on the Turtles, really great. We've had a bunch of different artists. The main artist that's going to continue on with this book is Juan Ferreira, I think, or I put his name up on screen. I don't love it. I really don't. His artwork is just, it's not Turtles, man. It's so not Turtles. We should have it like Joel Jones or Raphael Albuquerque or one of the art artists that were on those first 4 issues. And it's just, or 3 issues. But the story was pretty interesting. In issue number 5, we get introduced to one of the main new villains that's going to be, like, you know, making a mess for the Turtles. And he's interesting enough. But I'm more interested in what's happening to the Turtles. Let's get back to the Turtles. Issue number 5 was all about villains, a little bit of Casey Jones. So let's get back to the Turtles. Thundercats, issue number 12. This series could be great. It's just good. The storytelling can be a little weak at times. The artwork sucks. I'm sorry. I normally try to not be super negative on the channel, but man, the artwork is just not good. And it really hurts the story. It really does. There were multiple panels in issue number 11. I was like, what the hell? Why would he make that face? It doesn't make any sense. So it definitely distracts from the story, and it could be better. It should be better. The great books, guys. Last section. Black Coat. Issue number 11 comes out this week. Issue number 10 was awesome. This series by Stephanie Phillips is just, or is it Kelly Thompson? I always forget who it is. I'll make sure I put her name up on screen. Such a fantastic book. I love that we're in this fantasy world. There's a political structure that is completely a mess because there's all kinds of stuff going on, and there's magical creatures everywhere, and there's detective work happening. It is just an awesome story. After that, Red Coat, issue number 9. We got Black Cloak, Red Coat. Red Coat is so good. So good. Jeff Johns, Brian Hitch telling the story about this immortal that cannot leave America. If he leaves America, he dies, but he's stuck here and he's immortal. And you meet all these really cool characters. And this last issue was kind of like a one-shot leading up to the next story arc and it's going to start with Johnny Appleseed. So good. Next up, Salmon Twitch Case Files, issue number 10. This is the final book on my pull list. What a great series this has turned out to be. Especially, this is living within the Spawn universe, but it's very much just a detective story, but with 2 characters that are so close to Spawn. It's just awesome. And it really, like, you know, it's really focusing in on Twitch, which is a really cool character, and you're getting more of his life and how it, like, you know, his detective work really affects his family life. And he accidentally killed someone in the last issue, issue number 9, and he's dealing with the aftermath of that. But is that guy really dead, or was he a hellspawn? Who knows? But it's really good, really well written, great artwork. I'm really enjoying this series. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, but let's go ahead and wrap this video up. All right, guys, we are at the end of today's video, and I think it's funny that I'm like, you know what? This is a short week, only 17 books or 15 books, whatever it was. It's gonna be a short video, and then I find myself just talking to you guys more. I'm like, yeah, I gotta fill this space. I need this video to be 30 minutes. Why do I do that? I don't know. I guess I just like talking to you guys about comics, because comics are the best, aren't they? They're just so good. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching from the beginning of this video all the way to this point right here. And if you guys did that, you guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Don't forget, smash that like button. And last but not least, guys, if you guys enjoyed that video and you enjoy comic book content and you're not subscribed, well, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. All right, guys, I'll be back on Thursday with my final order cutoff video, and that's going to be it for the week. I don't know when Stephanie and I are going to do another Comics and Beer. Life is just really busy right now. We really are. And it's, you know, you got to make sacrifices in life to make sure that your home life is always the best. So I'm going to sacrifice that for a little bit, and we'll be back sometime in the future. But FOC on Thursday, and then I'll be back on Tuesday. All right, guys, have yourself a great new comic book day. Get all the books you want to get, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.